had a realization today, and I'm sitting here in my unmade bed because I just wanted to hop on and just make this quick video while I'm thinking about it. And this might be common sense to so many of you. I feel like it should have been common sense to me, but it's not. And because it's not common sense to me, I feel like we need to talk about it more. So quick backstory, I live with multiple chronic illnesses, have lots of pain and fatigue. I have POTS, fibromyalgia, endometriosis, PCOS, chronic migraines, just lots of issues in my body, lots of gut issues, all the things. My body hurts all the time. I can't live a normal life. And recently I was thinking about getting a wheelchair. That's a video for another day because I'm definitely gonna buy one. But for some reason, I just had this thought, if I use a wheelchair, does that make me disabled? And I was thinking about some of my clients I've had and some of you guys who maybe have severe EDS and need walkers or wheelchairs, other stabilizers, and talk about being disabled. And I always thought of that as being disabled. Having a wheelchair, a walker, other things like that you can visually see someone's disabled. But I realized in this moment, I've never considered myself disabled. I've considered myself someone who suffers from chronic illnesses. I never thought of myself as a disabled person. And I realized, do I even know the definition of disabled? Because in my mind, you should visually see that. And I think a lot of the world feels that same way, where you have to visually see that someone's disabled in order to put them in that category. So let's head over to my computer so we can look at the actual definition of this. If I type in here, define disabled, it says, of a person having a physical or mental condition that limits movement, senses, or activities. That's me. Can I do the activities that everyone my age is doing? No. Have I spent my 20s living a completely different life than I had imagined? 100%. I can't do the activities and movements that other people do. It doesn't mean that my legs are broken, I'm not paralyzed, but I still fit this definition of disabled. Why has this never connected in my mind? And then I moved over to this website. Oh, Harvard Graduate School of Education. Okay, just like any website. No, Harvard University's website. There is an article called "Chronic Illness is Not Widely Viewed as a Disability. This Needs to Change." And I read that and it hit me so hard. Like, me, as someone who is disabled, still sounds weird to say that, but me as someone who has limited movement, someone who cannot physically perform the activities that those around me are doing, I did not see myself as disabled. I did not view chronic illness as a disability, except in certain cases when I could visually see that someone was disabled. When I could actually see a walker, when I could actually see a feeding tube, when I could actually see these things. And I've been working with people who are calling themselves disabled through my coaching program. And they're interchanging these terms of chronic illness and disability, and yet how in my mind has it not connected that I am still in that category? And it took me getting a wheelchair for occasional outings in order to realize that even without a wheelchair, I am disabled. So let's read part of this article together because it's actually really good. Okay. So I will link this article in the description because I kind of loved it. And now, of course, I lost my place. Firstly, similarities between chronic illness and impairment are not well understood. Impairment is what is absent or different in a person's body structure or function. Mobility and sensory disabilities, for example, have localized impairments of limbs and senses. The impairments associated with chronic illness tend to be systemic, affecting the whole person. Of the hundreds of chronic illnesses, the most common impairments related to chronic pain and fatigue result in decreased stamina for everyday activities like walking, standing, concentrating, and learning. People with chronic illness often need to plan their energy expenditures so they can carry out their daily self-care and household tasks. Boom, yes. As well as their work and goal-oriented activity. So while loss of limb and eyesight is clearly impairment, understanding the impairments caused by chronic illness are complex and subtle. Such good wording. Secondly, chronic illness is commonly seen as sickness rather than disability. Exactly. That's how I viewed it. As someone who is chronically ill, I viewed it as sickness, not disability. So interesting to think about, right? As most people have been sick at some point or another, experiencing significant milder symptoms of the chronically ill, like tiredness, pain, dizziness, the experiences of those with chronic illness can be trivialized all too often. People with chronic illness like MS, arthritis, endometriosis are seen as exaggerating common problems and perceived as lazy, ineffective, and an unnecessary burden. We know. We have all felt that way, right? Sounds like we're just exaggerating normal daily life stuff. No, we are not. Okay, a simple example is that most people don't know the difference between overwhelming weakness and inability to function caused by medically defined fatigue and normal, even extreme tiredness. In truth, the experience of the chronically ill cannot be fully understood or imagined by healthy people. That is why it is time to educate our institutions and ourselves. Thirdly, most chronic illnesses are invisible, which can lead to misunderstanding. We usually can't tell from someone's appearance that they suffer from chronic pain, fatigue, or mental conditions that may limit their activities. As a result, these people with invisible chronic illnesses are often accused of faking their impairments and continually face trying to prove that their impairments are real. Lastly, chronic illness symptoms are multi-casual, unpredictable, and unstable. While mobility, sensory, and learning impairments tend to be stable, chronic illness fluctuates in severity on a day-to-day basis. Round of applause for this person who wrote this. We need to give them, references. I don't know who put this all together. But Harvard, let's give a round of applause for this really, really awesome article. Because it put words that I'm just not very good with words. I don't know about any of you. But it put things that I think into much better wording here. So interesting, right? So tell me your thoughts in the comments. At what point is someone considered disabled? As I read more into this, as I look at the definition of disabled, I fit that definition. I can't perform the tasks that my friends do. And I'm wondering if just changing my vocabulary a little bit will help me to give myself a little more grace, will help me to be able to explain to other people a little bit better, because I just never thought of this before. So let me know in the comments, am I just crazy and I should have figured this out earlier? Should I have viewed myself as disabled this whole time? Or is this what others of you are feeling? All right, I hear some children calling me, so I'm gonna run. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this topic? Talk to you soon.